Hello, it's been a while since you've been on my channel.
It has been, yeah.
So, what did you think of the Candyman movie in the cinema that we went to go see tonight?
Well, bar you having an altercation. That was probably the highlight, to be fair. That was the most...
What did I do?
You know what you did. You had a go at two teenagers who were talking, but you shooed them away. If you're not here for the movie, the people in front said it was the most polite telling off they've ever experienced.
Thank you.
I particularly enjoyed the hand gesture when you said go away, but the movie itself, it was. I had high expectations, but I didn't really enjoy it. I'm not going to get too political, I just didn't enjoy it. There are a number of reasons.
Why?
I don't know, it just wasn't really that interesting. The story wasn't that great, and there wasn't that much horror. I wasn't really nervous or scared at any point. Were you? Oh yeah, you couldn't see him in the mirror. Yeah, because you can only see him in the mirror, there was no sort of intense moment. Normally, like, the scariest part of a horror film, or the most intense part, is when you're expecting something to happen.
Yeah.
But because you couldn't see him, there wasn't that intense expectation of something's going to happen in a minute.
Yeah.
And because you couldn't see a lot of what was going on, people just died in thin air, and it was a bit like a children's horror. And that is my take on it. How did you find it?
I thought that it was interesting. The gory scenes, like where his hand and stuff is all like funny from the beasting, that freaks me out.
It took me a while to understand that that's what it was, though.
And then he suddenly turned dead. It wasn't very like plotted out.
It was quite hard to follow. It's kind of like if something happened and then you went back like 10 minutes later and thought, oh, that's why that happened.
Exactly, yeah.
That's how I found it. I thought the worst part was when he stuck the fork up his sort of bare skin.
Oh, when they hacked off the hand.
At the end, yeah.
Yeah. They turned him into the Candyman.
Exactly. But on an overall score rating, you should really give it a score rating if you're going to do a review.
A 2?
What, 10?
Yeah.
That's probably harsh but fair. I'll go with 2. Oh, why don't you tell me off?
A 2. No, you can give it your own rating. I'm not going to tell you more. I tell people they don't shut up off.
Well, I mean, the 2 seems harsh, so I'll give it a 3.
A 3, okay, because you were nicer than me.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, it is official. Winter is upon us. It is the 2nd of October, and I'm starting to shit myself because it's the 2nd of October and I haven't started reading any of the books that I need to yet. Last night, I mean, it's spooky month, okay? So last night, me and Mark went out and watched Candyman, which was utter bollocks. It was absolutely rubbish, but it was still nice to hang out with Mark. So that was nice. And then we came back to mine, and he likes TV shows like Married at First Sight and stuff like that, so we watched that and had some wine and just chilled out, and yeah, that was nice to catch up with him because it's been a while. And today I did some overtime at work this morning, and now Adam's popping over to come and say hello, and we're going to spend a couple of hours together. Tonight I will be reading some books. I don't know which one to start with. House of Leaves or Kill Creek. I mean, I'm just so intrigued by this, but I think I'm going to enjoy this one more. Maybe I should like read a chapter of both and then see how we go. But first, time for Adam.
Oh. Go under there. Are you happy?
Well, hello. It is October 3rd. Have I read any of these books yet? No, I haven't. Last night, oh my god, Adam and I went out to this really little cozy bar to play chess, and it was pouring with rain. It was gorgeous. Then we came back to mine and had a glass of wine, and we were just catching up and chatting, and obviously because I've been a bit down lately, I kind of opened up about it, and weirdly, it's going to sound bizarre, but we ended up sitting in my cupboard and I just burst into floods of tears, like another bloody breakdown, because clearly there is something wrong with me right now. And I said something that I did not expect. I didn't know I felt this way until the words were already out of my mouth, which was bizarre. So basically, after a big cry, I literally just looked at him and I said, I just want a mum. So I think maybe I've just got a lot of these deep rooted pains from the lack of family, I guess, that I have. Yeah, so when he eventually left, a lot later than expected, I told him I was going to kick him out at 5 so that I could have an evening of reading, but by that point I was a snotty, blubbering mess. So I think he stayed until like 6 or 7, and then I munched a bag of Doritos in bed. I think I watched the first finale episode of Married at First Sight UK, and then I fell asleep really early. I slept for 10 hours, which is unheard of for me. I have cracked open the very first page of House of Leaves this morning, finally on day 3, and the very first page says, "This is not for you." So what dedication. I'm very much looking forward to giving it a go. However, I am quite broke at the minute because I have spent a fortune on life. So I'm about to crack open my work laptop and do an hour's overtime, and then very spontaneously I've decided to go to London. I'm getting cabin fever in Milton Keynes and especially Woburn Sands. I need to get out, so we're going to go to London today. I will read this book eventually, I promise. Week 1, this is not much of a reading vlog. Hello everyone, it is day 5. I have hardly vlogged, I am sorry about that. Sunday I went to London. It was absolutely amazing. I went to the Sea Container restaurant for lunch. I had some oysters and like this young little crab and avocado jalapeno kind of smashed together thing, which is really nice. Went to this place called Swingers, which isn't what you think. It was this crazy golf place and I tied, so I did quite well there. Then I finished off in a jazz bar, so it was a really, really lovely day, and I didn't really have a chance to film much. I think I got 1 or 2 photos, if that. So I didn't read on Sunday. I think I got back from the jazz bar at about like midnight, so I just crashed as soon as I got home. And then yesterday was a write-off. I was so tired, I just had to relax. So it is now Tuesday and I finally started Kill Creek by Scott Thomas. I am going to do like a try a chapter tag to see which one I should read between Kill Creek or House of Leaves. I just didn't want to bring House of Leaves to work really because it's quite chunky. So I took this one in, and so far I've read the prologue and I think that it's really well written, it's really detailed, and it reads very much like a ghost story, like that you tell around a campfire at night. So I'm actually really enjoying the vibe of it so far. It's about this house that this guy built with his bare 2 hands, and one night he and his partner, this woman that he loves, they get murdered, and the wife, not the wife, I think she was just like a mistress or something, her body is found dangling from this beech tree like several weeks later. So obviously then the house kind of starts getting like rumours, and it doesn't get like the best name. However, many years later, these identical twin sisters take the house on, they buy it, and they're very odd. They're like quite reclusive and just kind of keep out the public eye. The one is disabled from this like bad accident that she had, and I think she eventually dies, her heart just stops, and then the other one survives a couple more years. But then one day a group of kids are on this dare to go and investigate this property, and they find her dangling from the very same beech tree as many years before when that other woman was found murdered there. So, and this woman, the latest one, the twin, she was very like, didn't want to talk to anyone at all, but everyone was quite surprised when she let in this like really well-known author who ended up writing a story that he called True Stories of like horrifying supernatural tales from this place. So it's obviously gotten a really bad name, and that's where I am with it now. I've still got chapter 1 to read, so I'm going to count that as pages that I'm going to read for today, so that I can determine if I want to focus on this one or House of Leaves. That's a good couple of pages actually. It'll get me until page 18, and then we'll go on to House of Leaves. I also started Haunted by Chuck Palahnuik again on Audible today, and I am completely DNFing it. It's just ridiculous and boring and stupid. I mean, Chuck Palahnuik, the author of Fight Club, I really did expect more, but I mean, I don't really want to read stories about some guy who's trying to like give himself an anal orgasm and ends up ripping his intestines out and his large intestines, or shoving like carrots up his bum, and it was painful. I don't mind sex in books and masturbation, erotic fiction, but it was just really not necessary. Didn't connect with it at all, and I am definitely DNFing that. But so far we're off to a very promising start with Kill Creek. Could this be the horror book that finally gets me into this genre? Because horror and I do not normally get along. Anyway, for now, I need to go and heat up some of my salmon. Like, I did like a creamy salmon pasta last night with broccoli and chili and black pepper and stuff like that. So my stomach is grumbling. I'm gonna go and have that, chill out, read my book, and I will touch base with you a little bit later. Bye. Hello everyone, it is Thursday, day 7 of October. It's not been much of a reading week, to be fair. I've been absolutely shattered and far too busy for my own good. I am, however, getting right into the fall vibes. I've wanted a Yankee candle pretty much my entire life. I have never gotten myself a big one because I was just like, I couldn't justify how expensive they were. However, I was in Sainsbury's the other day and I was walking past the candle section, like, with my blinkers on or whatever it's called, and I just smelt the smell of heaven and I had to get it. It's a cider tasting Yankee candle and it is divine. It gives me all of the cozy vibes. It's not yet lit, so I'm very much looking forward to lighting this and reading books. However, there's not going to be much of a chance to read books this weekend, I don't think, because I'm going to Ireland. What a week! I've been to London, I'm going to Ireland. I have read a little bit, okay? I'll explain Ireland in a second. I think I might have already actually mentioned Ireland, so in that case, just ignore me. I did start the very first bit of House of Leaves the other night in bed, and I honestly was like, I don't know, it was making me fall asleep. To me, it just seemed like this man's chaotic, mad drivel, in my humble opinion. I wasn't really connecting with the story at all. But then I realised, okay, so basically what I read was a very long introduction. So I haven't actually finished chapter 1, which is what I said I was going to do. But I just really didn't like it, to be honest. Chapter 1 is quite short, actually, so I'll give that a go later tonight when I'm back from work. It's about this guy called Zampano who was blind, and he had loads and loads of books he'd hoarded over the years, and most of them were obviously Braille. People used to come and try and borrow these books from him or something. And I think the person who's written this introduction, obviously I guess it's fiction, or I bloody hope so. He got one of the books and read some kind of note that this Zampano guy had written just before he died, and he was like also thinking like, oh, well, what's this? This is rubbish, which is exactly what I thought of the introduction, to be fair. But yeah, like curiosity killed the cat, and I really have no idea, to be fair. I really can't tell you much more about this book. Zampano had a couple of women in his life. This guy seems quite obsessed with this Zampano guy. So I gather the book's going to be about Zampano and about what he endured, but I have no idea. So I will read chapter 1 a little bit later. However, now I'm going on to Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, which I am thoroughly enjoying. I am now on chapter 3. The writing is excellent. The second chapter opens up on this this horror author, a woman who her film rights to her book have been sold. So she's at this restaurant talking with the people that have bought the film rights, and they just want to change her book, and she's really pissed about this, and she ends up like stabbing the one guy like under his fingernail with a knife, and I'm just like, yeah, you go girl. So yeah, that's really good. I like her a lot. She's a bit ballsy and badass, but then she leaves the restaurant and has this panic attack. So but I think basically what's going to happen is that the book's going to be introducing these like 4 different horror authors that are going to go and stay in this haunted house, which I believe is going to get documented live during their stay there. So I think we're just getting introduced to all of the authors. But so far, really, really liking Kill Creek. Ireland, right. I'm going to Belfast tomorrow, so that's exciting. Of course, I will try my best to film as much as I can. Oh my god, I need to get to work. I'm running late. Ah! Right, got to go. I'll see you next week for another video, and you will see a bit of Ireland. See you later. Bye-bye.